He puti puti te rohi. Roses are really pretty and they're an old favourite. They come in heaps of different varieties. Some are heavily scented, some are not. And they look gorgeous both in the garden and inside as a cut flower. Today I'm going to show you some easy tips on how to take care of them. Here at the Whānau Living house, we've got some really good examples of what these standard iceberg roses look like when they haven't been properly cared for. To start with here, they've not been staked properly, so this one's on quite a lean. These ones also haven't been pruned. There's also quite a bit of dead growth left in here, and we've got some aphid action over here. And also the leaves have got a bit of black spot on them, which is a really common rose disease. So to start with, we're going to stake these guys up. Going to give them a little bit of a trim, a little bit of a dead head, and a bit of a spray. With these ones here, I'm just going to bring them back into shape. They're a little bit out of control. And this one's really top heavy and it's lean to the side, which has caused quite a bend in our trunk here. But if we take off a bit of weight, should lift our rose back up and give it some shape. There are the 3 Ds which you take off: dead, diseased and damaged first. This little branch here is crossing over and rubbing against this one. This will eventually cause disease and damage, so these ones have to come off too. This is a better shape already, and because you're going to keep deadheading all summer, you can keep bringing the shape in as you go along. I've left the flowers where there are new buds still to come, and there's some lovely buds up here. So once those are finished, I'll keep pulling it down and keep pulling it back into shape, and it will keep flowering. And then at the end of the season, then I'll give it a good prune for winter. So now we're off to visit a friend who's put in some new iceberg roses. So we're going to look at what kind of soil conditions they like, how to feed them, how to spray them, and how to care for them all year round. These are standard icebergs. These are new plants that have been freshly planted and they're really healthy. They've got heaps of flower on them. So a couple of tips for keeping them in a really good condition is to water them really deeply. We also want to mulch during the growing season, just around the base of the plant. This will help retain moisture. It'll also feed the plant and suppress weeds at the same time. Now I'm going to feed them. I've got some lovely liquid fertiliser here, which includes things like seaweed. So this will feed the soil and the plant. Now I've got some neem oil mixed up in here, and I'm going to give the roses a quick spray. Neem oil is fantastic because it helps with pests and diseases, and it also feeds the plant. So when we're cutting them or deadheading them, it's the same principle. You want to come down to a nice healthy leaflet, and in there you can see the node. It's really important that you cut against the node on a slant, just above it. That way, if there's any rain, it'll run off the rose and there won't be too much dieback as we get the new growth. And on this one, we've got some new growth happening already. So that's a really clear cutting point. Remember, on the angle, nice and close. So we've got this random stem here growing down. This isn't good for the shape that we're after. So we've got some new growth here pointing up, and we're going to cut nice and close on the slant upwards. This flower here is pretty much spent. I'm going to deadhead this, and I'm going to go down to the second leaflet. So we've now got a lovely bunch of roses to put inside in a vase, and we've got all this nice new growth and these other blooms that are going to pop out. So all the energy stopped going into here, so the plant's going to keep now making more energy and putting it into more blooms. When you're watering roses, and in fact anything, it's better to water every 2 to 3 days and water really deeply, because that will encourage the roots down, and that's where they can get the nutrients and get the moisture that they need. So looking after your roses at home is actually really easy. Just keep deadheading to keep a lovely shape and to keep the blooms coming. Keep them well watered, keep feeding the soil, bit of mulch, lots of water, and you'll have blooms all summer long.